Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence for Just Ask. Today's show, ladies and gentlemen, is the Food Pantry. Hurry back and join us. Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence for Just Ask. Today's show, ladies and gentlemen, is the Food Pantry. And I'm doing a special show today for you because I want you to know about a particular person that I have had a chance to follow in a food pantry. None other than herself, Donella Hughes-Bell, the founder of the Isaiah Project, the Food Pantry. Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. Now, Ms. Bell, I'm doing this show in particular because I want people to understand the concept of a food pantry and what does it mean when you're giving food to individuals in need. So first I want to start off, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came about the food pantry?
As I told you before in previous conversations, and I'll let our audience know, I'm a Detroit police officer, and I have been for nearly 40 years. And our motto at the police department is protect and serve. And that's one of the mottos of the food pantry. You protect the citizens by serving them food that's needed. And I got started years ago, 10 years ago to be exact. And I do it out of my church.
Okay. Okay, now let me ask you this. So I know you mentioned to me earlier that you originally started working in a food pantry with Mother Waddles.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
yes.
so was that the first eye-opening experience for you to want to do a food pantry because of your involvement with Mother Waddles?
Yes, that was back in '89. And at my precinct at that time was the 14th precinct. And she had a facility in that area, but she always gave to the needy in the area. Mm-hmm. And around the holidays, we always gave food out to those who needed it, who came to her place. And it just happened that the police department decided to help out. So we started a fund to help out Mother Waddles give out food on the holidays.
Okay, now a lot of people may not remember Mother Waddles, and I do. I remember Mother Waddles and the card donations and the food giveaway, and every year, especially around Thanksgiving and holidays, all the lovely times that she would come out and provide families with turkeys, hams, and everything. So you guys were a part of that mission for her.
Yes, along with Kroger's. I want to give them big high ups for that. Kroger's helped Mother Waddles, and us as police officers, when we found the family in our department, in our precinct, that needed food, we would take it to that family or inform other families where to go to Mother Waddles.
Okay, now your church, because you started your food pantry within your church. Now, what is your church?
St. Timothy's United Methodist Church. That's located in Detroit, Michigan, on the west side.
Okay, so now did you come to your pastor and say, Pastor, I'd like to, start a food pantry, or how did you guys come about?
Well, I was, before I brought the pantry to the church, I was in charge of the block club. And our block club was growing where we had about 4 or 5 different blocks from Puritan to 6 Mile. And it was people in those communities and these neighborhoods that needed food. And I went to the pastor of the church, and he offered to help me, set up a pantry by allowing me to have the space. But I would have to get my own funding and volunteers, and that's where I started.
Well, that's why I was saying to you earlier during our brief conversation, I was just taken by the fact that, you were a person giving the way you do with the food pantry and the other projects that you have we're going to talk about, because I noticed a lot of people may not know, and at the time that I had sustained a car accident and was unable to work and everything, my income was very low and stuff, and a friend of mine introduced me to your food pantry. And as I was coming, I just noticed how well organized it is, and your fellow police officers and volunteers along the way, everyone
Yes.
dressed professionally in the matching shirts, which we're going to show the shirt, so that you can identify the workers, away from, separate from the customers or
Right.
clients. And just how you had it well set up and the quality of the food that is, provided. So who are some of your funders, or what companies do you work with for your foods?
Gleaners and Forgotten Harvest are the primary where I get distribution points that I get my food from. I purchase food from Gleaners, and Forgotten Harvest donates food. So we feed about every 2 weeks about 500 family members.
That's a lot.
So you can imagine how long the lines are. Well, you've been there.
Oh,
You've
yeah.
seen the lines.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
we try to make, I don't give the people anything that I would not eat myself. So I try and make sure all the food is of such a quality. And Forgotten Harvest and Gleaner does that they will be happy with it. And so far, they are.
Well, it's well organized. I tell you, it's well organized, and the food is very much appreciative. But I know I asked you early on, and you said something about your ties.
Well, I have a couple of donors, but my tithes, I'm a donor too. I would have to normally give tithes every 2 weeks to my church, but I figure a better purpose for that, and I talked to my pastor about that. I much rather buy the food and give it out to those who really need it. And the building fund can wait a little bit, but these people cannot. So that's very important.
Okay.
So I hate to say I fund because I would have to give anyway. I'm allowed to give freely this money to buy the food, to purchase the food.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, before I get emotional, we're going to take a break, and ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with some more good information about the food pantry. We'll be right back.
A box can contain a gift or perhaps a special purchase for the entire family to enjoy. However, a box should never ever be your only shelter from the dangerous winter cold. The Hope Hospitality and Warming Center in Pontiac provides shelter, a warm meal, and fellowship for our guests, because no one should be homeless and freezing in Michigan. Call 248-812-WARM.
Everybody needs a helping hand. Take a look at your fellow man. Tell me, what can I do today?
Courtesy. Pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Movement. Along with weight loss, it's one of the many ways to fight osteoarthritis pain. For more information on managing pain, go to fightarthritispain.org.
And welcome back to the second half of the show. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you know me. Every time you tune in, I try to give you food for thought. And today it is food. So I wanted to tell you about Donella Hughes-Bell, the founder and director of the Isaiah Project, the Food Pantry. The reason I wanted to do this show today specifically is because during my downtime from the car accident and everything, my income did change drastically, and I would go to the food pantry, and I was most appreciative to see how it was well organized, the food of quality, the support and the volunteers that Ms. Bell has, which was part of her police family. So I asked her, by all means, would she come and join us today to give information out about her services and how it came about, because you all, we look at certain things as like, oh no, that's beneath me, this and that. No, it's not. None of this is beneath you. It's right on time. If you don't think that you need to go to a food pantry, you have a neighbor, you have another family member, someone who's in need somewhere around you, and you should volunteer your time as well as donate if you can, or just help out a neighbor in getting some food or something that they would need. So I want to thank personally Ms. Bell herself for putting on such a wonderful project, a program that's well deserved, and I thank you. I appreciate you.
I really appreciate this.
Okay.
You are good. I
Well,
love
you know
it.
what? I'm just telling the truth because you know what? When we air this show, I do want people to understand that, you know, a food pantry helps everyone.
It
Okay?
does.
And a lot of times, we had a lot of complaints over the years in the countries that saying, well, why are we sending food overseas when we have people right here in the United States that need food and that are hungry?
And that's another thing people don't understand. Nowadays, with government shortages and food stamps are being cut, that means that an average family that would normally get $100 is maybe for a month might be getting $60 now. So what do they do for the other half of the month once the $60 is out? That's why you need food pantries in the community to offer open hand and whatever they have
Most
to
definitely.
help the family.
Most definitely. I look at
Especially
it also.
our seniors.
Right. I was going to say our seniors and our disabled population.
Right.
You know, it's hard enough that we try to work with organizations to say, hey, can you come over here and bring something? Can you drop this off? Well, when you have food pantries and you have a neighbor that lives next door to you that that doesn't drive and can't
Right.
get around, you should want to be able to help out the next door neighbor or the person across the street. And they're most appreciative because they can't believe that you went out of your way, so to speak, to bring them a loaf of bread and some milk and some dairies or whatever, because you guys provide quality food. And I think that it's important to be able to give. And I often give to my neighbors, especially when I know that I picked up extra things. And I'm like, well, if you don't mind. And they say, oh, no, I don't mind. And I'm just so grateful to give. So I want to personally thank you for your project. Because, I wanted to ask you, how did your fellow police officers become involved? How did you get people to volunteer?
Volunteers, once I explained the program to them, and I tell them, I say, with the police officers, I tell them, I say, I need donations, money donations. Would you help me to feed a family? Would you help me to feed 50 people? And a lot of people will be so surprised. Police officers are very giving. They are giving. Okay. Along with protecting and serving, they give. If there's a need in the community, they will do it. And for the past 40 years, I've lived with this.
Okay.
They will give. And volunteers, once they, how did it start? I'm going to tell you this funny thing. When I first came to the church, and they said, we're going to give you a space for your pantry. And I don't think they understood what a pantry was, because they gave me this little closet with 2 shelves, and it was 4 cans in there. I said, well, okay. I said, but I think I'm going to need a little bit more room than that. And they said, well, we'll see, we'll see. And while I was doing this, I was researching and finding out, getting my 501c3, and finding out government regulations and city regulations and state regulations, and making sure that my program would be above board and that would be beyond question, because you want to help the community, help them in the right way. Make sure you're right. So aside from the donations and the building, which is a continuous thing, I'm sorry to say, I do need donations continuously, because, as I said before,
Well,
I love giving.
Help comes in various ways, and we know that. And you guys are helping other people, other families and stuff, and we know that you need help as well. So, because I was going to ask you now, in the winter months, okay, a lot of the seniors can't make it out there to the church to pick up food and things. Are you guys equipped to help the seniors in the wintertime, or do you need additional help?
That's where my wonderful son, June, comes in. We have seniors that are homebound. They can't get to the pantry. They will call the church, or they will call me through the block club or whatever, and we make sure they get food. Because I know it's harsh out there in the winter, and they can't get out there. And a lot of them are older. So June takes food to them. But our van, I need a van badly because our van won't make it. Somebody bust out the window on the van trying to break into it.
Oh, wow.
And it's an older van. It's 20 years old. But it was doing well enough to try and get to the few places, but the demand has increased. And I'm praying on this, that I get a van, that I'm able to continue to have him drop food off to those who need it. And it's not just seniors. A lot of people get hurt at work or whatever. We've had people call us, Department of Social Services, say, I have this family, she was involved in an accident. She can't work. If she's not working, she's got 3 kids. Can you help out? June gets right up. He gets the address and he takes food to them.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. But you know, like you're saying, if your van is in dire need of repairs or replacement and everything, it's only right that, you know, here on the show we could talk about some of the things that will help your organization continue so that you can continue doing what you're doing for the public. And, you know, and volunteers come in various ways. So it could be volunteering, answering the phone, you know, delivering food, repair the truck, replace the truck. So volunteers come in a lot of different ways. So is there a phone number for volunteers or, you know, to get some information from you?
Yes. The phone number is at the church, St. Timothy's United Methodist Church, area code 313-837-4070. And I'm there, as my kids say, I'm only 3 places that they know of: home, work, and church.
You know, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I heard you say something. What time do you go to work?
I go to work I get up at 3 a.m. and I go to one precinct and then I go to another and then I go downtown.
Okay.
And
so after you work your 8 hours or plus 8 hours, then you go to the church?
Yes.
Okay.
Because you have to, running a food pantry is kind of difficult. Not difficult, but
you got to be on top of things.
Thank you. You know how you said you see how we are lined up, we're organized? Oh, yeah. Well, I have to check on my food. I have to check on the freezers at the church. You know, we have to keep that temperature at a certain food of, you know, a certain temperature. So we have to check on that. If the building needs to be clean, my son is cleaning. We keep our area clean. We keep the parking lot.
Oh, yes. Everything's
and then
really nice.
we have training for the volunteers. You have to, HIPAA, they have to be trained on civil rights. They have to be trained on how do you convey to the citizens that you're not holding them. You know, it's kind of hard to come and ask for food. You know, sometimes people get in their feelings.
I tell you what, but after today, it won't be hard for me. Won't be hard for people to come and ask, you know, the Isaiah Project group, because you're telling us it's not that hard. And I'm a witness, it's not that hard.
All I ask is people come, show me your driver's license, because we have to keep a record of that for Gleaners and Forgotten Harvest, because they want to know that I am actually donating this food to a human. So your name, address, you fill those sheets out. And everybody's allowed to get food.
Okay.
And I give you the best, trust me, I give you the best I can get.
Trust me, I know. I tell you what, we're going to take a break, and ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back.
Until all our daughters are safe. Until all our children have families. Until all our families have homes. Until all our parents are cared for. We'll be here.
Three out of 4 kids are not as secure as they should be because their car seats are not used correctly. But the latch system makes it easier to get it right and to hold your kids tight. Anchor, tether, latch. Learn more at safercar.gov.
And welcome back to the last half of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Did you really think I wasn't going to tell you get your pen and paper out? Of course I do tell you get your pen and paper out. Why? Because I want you to be able to contact the Isaiah Project, the Food Pantry, if you want to volunteer, if you want to make donations, as well as if you are a person in need of food. Now, keep in mind, this Food Pantry does not limit people from coming from wherever you are. So if you're in Troy, if you're in Flint, if you're in Saginaw, if you're in Hamtramck, the only requirement is that you bring your ID and show that you are legitimately picking up food for you or your family. So don't think that, oh no, I can't get the food because, you know, I don't live down there. They're on the west side of Detroit, but they service all, and that's the great part. Now, if you have questions or are not sure about what you should ask, give us a call, 1-800-323-5336, 1-800-323-5336. You know, hashtag Just Ask Talk Show, or email me, Marcia at Just Ask Talk Show. Any questions you have, if you don't get a chance to speak to Ms. Bell herself, send them to me. I'll forward them to her. Now, without further ado, Ms. Bell, I know I had to show this flyer first, the free food giveaway, because most people don't probably believe it. But you know what? I got one of these from my dear friend Susan, and that's who actually, you know, started me out. Susan was coming across the street, and she called me. She said, "Do you need anything?" And I said, "Sure." And I come to her house, and she always gave me a bag of groceries. And I said, "Well, what are you doing?" And she said, "Girl, right here at the church, you need to come." And that's how I got started. So I wanted to familiarize people with the Gleaners, the Forgotten Harvest, and the lovely picture of the food products that's on here, and St. Timothy's Church.
Yes.
Okay. Puritan Arch there. Okay, so we got that. But you know, I know you have some other projects that you work on. I wanted to ask you about the wellness program that you have. So I see this is this more like for seniors, or tell us a little bit about the wellness program.
The wellness program is for any age group, but it's primarily for young adults of 18 and above, because it's a continuous program that we do along with Sinai Grace, because they give us diets for certain medical conditions, and we give those diets out while the people coming and exercising. But it's not so much exercising as dancing.
Okay.
Okay.
So a little bit of enjoyment in there.
Right.
Okay.
You can get people to moving as long as they think it's fun.
Well, I see it says hustle and line dance. I was like,
yes.
Okay. But so the relationship with Sinai is to help people manage their diet.
Manage their diet. If they need any help with medical services, they're there for that. So when they come in, I'm also a retired nurse. Okay. When they come in, and during these sessions, if they need it, I take their blood pressure and weight, and I monitor them. If it fluctuates or it's a little high, then I refer them over to Sinai Grace if they don't have a personal doctor. Okay. But this program is meant to get everybody in better health.
That's wonderful.
And have fun doing it.
But I do know you have one other program that's near and dear to your heart, and that's the literacy program.
Yes.
What is that about?
Well, the Board of Education stated many years ago that 51% of adults in the city of Detroit were illiterate. They said that out of that 51%, the majority of them did not finish school. And as a police officer, I can maintain that that's basically true. And see, the bad part about it, if they're illiterate and they don't have the opportunities to get those jobs, those good paying jobs, then I don't know how to say this, they're on a fast track to jail.
Okay.
You know, if you get
so once you get in the system just by fluke of a ticket or something or other,
right?
It could be a continuation,
right?
Okay, but you guys with the literacy program, what are you providing?
When we find a person that comes in, and we ask them what their grade level is, and then we give them a little test. We deal with them on the level that they test at, and then we bring them up to that grade. But we do it with love. I find that if you talk to a child and work with their self-esteem, they're more open to learn.
Oh, yes.
You tell them how good they are, how great they are, and they can learn anything. And you put joy in it, they learn. Now, I give my children and adults 3 things. I give them a Bible, I give them a self-esteem book, and I give them a dictionary. And I'm ruthless about my dictionary.
Okay, okay.
You must learn. My children, when they come to the summer camps for 6 weeks, they know, because I had the parents come in before. I want them to know what I expect out of the parents and what I expect out of their child coming to their church. They're going to learn new words. They're going to learn to speak up for themselves. And they're going to learn that they are loved. Isaiah 49:16. Our motto, you should hear us when we pray in our circle before we serve food. What did God promise you? What did he promise you? Everybody will say, 49:16, that in the palm of God's hand, my name is written, and I'm always under his protection. My kids know that. My kids know that.
Wow. You're going to get emotional, and so am I.
I am sorry.
No,
I'm
you're
sorry.
wonderful.
When I think about my kids.
You're wonderful. And I just, I'm just so pleased and honored to have you with us. And I wanted to show the shirt. And I mean, such a beautiful shirt, Isaiah.
Thanks.
Okay, and I don't want to, mess up the picture here, but the Isaiah Project. Now, can people order this shirt? Is this shirt for sale anytime soon or something?
Yes.
It's even got the Psalms on the back, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
I like those hands. Okay. Okay. Okay, I like those hands too. Okay, I like helping hands. I like supporting
Thank
hands.
you.
So, we definitely want to know. So what we're going to do, like I said, once this show airs, Donella Hughes-Bell, we would hope that our communities will reach out to support you even
I
more
hope
so.
so.
Okay, so we do know we need that phone number. If you're looking for volunteers, if you're looking for donations, if you're looking for grant writers and or space or something like that, what's that phone number that they can reach you at?
Area code 313-837-4070. The St. Timothy's United Methodist Church, Detroit, Michigan, 48235.
Now, is there a website just in case?
Yes, it's the Isaiah Literacy Project and Food Pantry.com.
Okay. Will you come back and see us again?
Oh, thank you for having me. This has been a joy. And I have to apologize. I do get excited when I talk.
You don't have to apologize.
When I think about my children and the food pantry, I get excited.
Well, that was well worth it, that excitement.
Thank
okay,
you.
so we thank you, okay? And
I thank you.
We look forward to having you come again. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you know what? I even got a little touch there. I mean, I did because, I took the time out. I was tracking this lady down for every time I went to Food Pantry. I just kept asking her, would you let me interview you? Would you let me, just get the word out how wonderful your service is? And so I'm so grateful that she came. So I want you to keep in mind, she needs support just like anyone else. And I want you to, reach out and help if you can. And if you can't, just pray for the organization and hope that they will continue to be able to help others along the way. I'm your host, Marsha Florence with Just Dance, and what do I always say? If you have a question about a person with a disability or if you just have a general question, don't be afraid to ask, just ask. I'm your host. Thank you.